SVCE. He guided PhD and has won credit apart from other. He has the distinction of receiving the AP State Scientist Award on February 28, 2009 and AP State Teacher Award on September 5, 2015 by the government of AP. He served as a principal SKU College of Engineering and Technology and currently the Dean, Faculty of Engineering and Technology. Apart from heading the Center for Skill Development, Entrepreneurship and Incubation, SK University. He is also founder director of Atal Incubation Center, sanctioned by Niti Aayog, Government of India. He is an academic senate member of SK University and Adikavi Nannaya University and served as an academic council member of JNTUA, CEA, GPREC, and SRIT. Has visited a number of universities in USA like Stanford University and University of Washington, Georgia Institute of Technology, Nanyang Technological University, and some universities in Malaysia and Australia. He is a seasoned motivator and a freelance career counselor. As a part of his mission Motivative Million Minds, he is actively associated with a number of society conscious non-profit organizations like ADI Foundation, Bread Society, Essence Society, etc., and an active YouTuber contributing more than 250 videos on different domains for reaching a wider spectrum of academic community. I welcome Kondur Nagabhushan Garu. Welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ms. Deepthi. I take it a privilege to speak to the academic fraternity and these proud students of this college. In fact, hearty congratulations to all of you, to the management, to the hardworking principal, learned teachers and the proud students of the college for getting the UGC autonomous status. The principal has just informed me that you got the autonomous status yesterday. That itself is a very good blend of, the mission, we call it. When we have National Innovation and Startup Policy in the year 2019 and National Education Policy 2020, and when you are autonomous, you have the flexibility to adopt both these policies into your curriculum and make it a very vibrant, so that it becomes a model for the entire academic fraternity of the region. Okay, so with this, I acknowledge my gratitude to the college management, to start with the principal, Dr. Sudhakar Reddy, who is a good friend of mine, and the organizer, Mr. Ramakrishna Reddy, for giving me an opportunity to speak to the academic fraternity and the students of the college. So I will briefly touch upon the national education policy also, because I think that, although you must have known the policy, but still, 5 points, how these points can help the innovation policy of 2019 and how we can always embed them in our curriculum and the pedagogy. So with this few words, let's get into the presentation. So I'll briefly run through the presentation, say for about 40 minutes or so, 35 to 40 minutes or so. Then we can have any long time depending on your patience on question answer session on this. So this is exactly what we will be doing. We will be, although the session is titled for National Innovation and Startup Policy, so let's understand the national education policy also, because it has come, first the education policy was framed in 1968, then the second one came in 1986, and the third one in 2020 after a very long gap. So definitely we all should be geared for such kind of a thing. So before we enter into things, let's understand the genius of the world, all-time genius of the world, Albert Einstein. He says that there are only 2 ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is a miracle. So these 2 sentences change the attitude of the person who is looking at the problems of the society. Every day in and day out, every one of us are going through the problems. You call any type of problems, right? Whether they are community problems, society problems, agricultural problems, administration problems, academic, you name any one of them, and we have the opportunity of living in problems, so that we also have the opportunity to find the solutions for all of them. So if having a problem is always a boon for a creative mind. So when you look at it from Einstein's point of view, right? So 99% of the people think that nothing is a miracle. And so many things happening all around us, but none of us bother what is happening, how it is happening, why it is happening. But at least 1% of the people really, they think that everything is a miracle. They are the need of the hour. They are the future citizens of the country, and they are the real innovators, and they are the real contributors to change this world, and they are the real change agents. Okay, so whatever we talk about, ultimately, let's keep this in mind. Every time, anytime, just keep that and stop thinking that everything is a miracle. Whatever happens around us, how it is happening, why it is happening, and we should have that questioning attitude. So in that perspective, if you see the National Education Policy 2020, I really appreciate the paradox of Indian youth is normally we all have seen, right? Indian culture is the strongest and the best in the world, and Western education is the strongest and best in the world, right? Unfortunately, West follows India when it comes to culture, but unfortunately, India follows Western culture, not their education system. So that's the paradox. So with that, background, in government of India has been good enough to bring out this particular policy, because the next generation students are definitely not the same that what we were. Definitely they are different. The kind of technologies, the kind of inquisitiveness they have, they are much vibrant than all of us and our earlier generations. So this education system, if you see, this is the existing academic structure, what we have been all going through 10 years for schooling and 2 years for intermediate. But this is actually 16 to 18. When it comes to state, it is 15 to 17. Well, 16 and 17, but this is considered for a central government thing, because in central government schooling, unless you clear that 6th year, you will not be getting admission into the first standard. But the whole thing is changed now. You have the foundation stage, ages 3 to 6. We normally call it as these 5 years. We normally call it as a foundational. Where you have 3 years of Anganwadi pre-primary, then 2 years starts with class 1 and 2, between ages 6 to 8. You will be in a foundational stage, where the actual learning will be taking place multi-level, more on play and activity-based model. Then we have a preparatory for 3 years, from 3rd class to 5th class, more of discovery in nature, activity-based and interactive classroom learning. And then middle stage, we call it about 6th to 8th standard, between the age 11th to 14 for 3 years, where you have an experiential learning. Experiential learning is more of practical in nature in all the science and humanities. Okay, and then the higher secondary we will have for 4 years for classes 9th to 12th, where the education will be more of multidisciplinary study, greater critical thinking, because from here onwards, in fact, from the middle stage onwards, the more of programming, more of experiential learning, critical thinking is added, where there is also a flexibility and student choice of subjects during the secondary stage. So when we come to the higher education, then it aims India as a global knowledge superpower. Okay, so this can happen only because the entire curriculum is going to be 360 degrees flexible. Where only yesterday, you all would have seen, yesterday only government of AP has released a GO making the non-professional 3 years degree into a 4 years degree with a flexible curriculum for 3 to 4 years. Although the GO says that there is an exit only after the 3rd year, And if you complete the 4th year with research aptitude, you will be getting a honors degree where you can gain, admission directly into your PhD. But here, when it comes to Government of India, the national educational policy per se, there is always a gap after the first year. In any chosen field, if you can have a break after first year and you can carry with the number of credits, put it in an academic bank of credits and carry with a certificate. You will be given a certificate in that particular discipline. And you can come back after 2 to 3 years, whether you go for a startup, whether you go for an employment, whether you go for agriculture, doesn't matter. When you come back, you collect all your accrued credits in the first year and pursue your second year. And if you complete 2 years, you will be given a diploma in that particular subject. And then again, you can have a break, pursue whatever you want. And again, come back, collect your credits from any institution that you have pursuing these credits. You can put it in your academic bank of credits. Then after 3rd year, you can go with a degree in that particular discipline, again pursue your thing, come back 4th year. So this is the 360-degree flexible curriculum, what is envisaged in the new national education policy. But the government of AP has given this only for the 3rd year gap, because right now it is not advisable to venture into a 360 degrees flexible, because the pedagogy and the education system as such has to go through a phased manner. That's the reason why they have put that the thing. But in the years to come, when the younger generation students grow up and they keep coming to the higher education, definitely it will be this kind. So but the main aim here is why they are having this total 360 degrees flexibility is because the students, the younger generation students, will definitely have the opportunity to break their studies. Mainly for most of them will be going for, if you see the Stanford education, 40% of their alumni or their final year students go into startups. Then they go into employment, rest of them go into employment, just they spend not more than 2 years and come back and again for startups. So any given time, 70 to 75% of the Stanford graduates, or for that matter, Harvard, any premier institutes for that matter, they will all be focusing on the startups. And this has already come to India, and many of our younger generation students who are working in big product-based companies are not able to, leave alone the service-based companies, product-based companies, they are definitely trying, venturing into starting the and ultimately to become their own CEOs instead of working somewhere. So that is the basic crux of this higher education policy. And then to monitor an autonomous body in the name of National Education Technology Forum, NETF, will be created, which will provide a platform for the free exchange of ideas on the use of technology to enhance learning, assessment, planning, and administration. So this will be a one umbrella where they monitor the entire education system, where the learning, assessment, planning, and administration will be taken care by this. Then I said you have the academic bank of credits to be established to facilitate transfer of credits. So the advantage of this is this will be a national bank of credits, a national platform where any student studying in any college can log into this, post his credits and collect whenever they want. And first year they can study in one institute, second year in another institute, third year it all depends on the quality of the credits and the number of credits that they are accruing. And then this is a very important thing. Already government of AP has started working in this direction. They've already identified in establishing a multidisciplinary education and research universities. They call it as a MERUs, at par with IITs and IIMs, to be set up as models of best multidisciplinary education of global standards in the country. So government of AP has already recognized JNTU Anantapur, JNTU Kakinada, Andhra University, SV University, and IIIT, RGUKT. These 5 universities to start with in the first stage under Meru universities to give this thing. Then the second phase they said SK University and Acharya Nagarjuna University. And the third phase, all the other newly established universities will be covered under this particular phase-wise establishment. So literally in the next 10 years to come, every district will have a multidisciplinary education research universities with global standards. That's the thing. Then over a period of time, you will see you will not find any affiliate college after 10 years. And every college is expected to develop into either an autonomous or a constituent college of a university where you will be in a position to grant your own degrees to the students. And that is the aim of the new national education policies that come into which every one of us should be knowing and gear up psychologically at least to be prepared for such things. So in order to facilitate this kind of an ecosystem, educational, new educational ecosystem in the country, National Education Research Foundation will be created as an apex body for fostering strong research culture and building research capacity across higher education. Then, Higher Education Commission of India will be set up as a single umbrella body for the entire higher education, excluding medical and legal education. Okay, so public and private higher educational institutions will be governed by the same set of norms, because unless now, you will not be distinguishing the public and private higher education institutions. Everyone is same. And every one of us will have the same set of norms for regulation, accreditation, and academic standards. Okay, so this HECA will have 4 independent verticals, which will be working at unison in terms of National Higher Education Regulatory Council, NHERC for regulation. This will be taking care of regulation. Then General Education Council, basically for standards. And Higher Education Grants Commission, mainly for funding to provide grants, and then National Accreditation Council for accreditation. So this is the gist of the national education policy, which is at our disposal in the next 10 years to come. I sincerely request, it is more challenging for the faculty to be geared up for this kind of 360 degrees flexibility, because the students expect a lot. And the administrators expect a lot from the faculty. And the main fulcrum for all these things, we, the faculty, which is the main fulcrum, basically right for the management to the students. And that is exactly where we need to feel more responsible and more to update ourselves day in and day out with the kind of opportunities that COVID-19 has given us. In fact, it has given us a wonderful opportunities, provided we look at it, because if we want to refresh in fact, the COVID-19 has refreshed the entire knowledge base of the world by refreshing, by resetting everything into 0 zeros, and then again freshly we are going to take a new turn, a new leap with the kind of background that we have had. So with this in fact, National Innovation and Startup Policy 2019 for students and faculty has already been designed by MHRD Innovation Council. MHRD, now MHRD is totally, name itself is changed in the National Education Policy into Ministry of Education. Okay, there is no MHRD now. And then you have UGC and AICTE. Okay. So this policy will work as a guiding framework for all the higher education institutions in the country. Okay, so it's good that we have an innovation and startup policy coming in the year 2019 and national education policy coming in 2020. When the entire world is under reset mode, and it's time for us to gear up and rejuvenate ourselves and bring out that all the most renaissance into the higher education system. So let's understand what exactly these words, innovation and startup, mean for us before going to understand the rationale behind the policy and what exactly the policy guidelines are. So the Wikipedia defines innovation in its modern meaning as a new idea, creative thought, new imagination in the form of a device or a method. So if you just try to understand, I put the entire definition as it is, so that you read it once or twice and try to understand. No, innovation can be a new idea, and it is not always the invention. Invention is unraveling the mysteries of nature by incorporating the principles of science hypothesis. But it's not the case with innovation. Innovative can be a very novice idea, arriving at a gist. It can spark in a minute. And if you are going through a problem, if you are understanding a problem, if you are going through a problem, then definitely you may strike an idea, and which can be a creative thought, a new imagination, which can result in the form of a device or a method or a process. Okay, that's the innovation. So never ever get confused with innovation and invention. Innovation is a very easy thing where everyone can be part of innovation. But invention is not all. You require a plethora of scientific gadgets, scientific phenomenon, scientific processes to understand, interpret, and arrive at, which may take years together. But innovation, a second is enough for innovation. For invention, okay, that's exactly what's the difference. So this innovation is also often viewed as the application of better solutions to problems that meet the new requirements, unarticulated needs, or existing market needs. Okay, so just try to understand what a beautiful definition. So this application of your idea for a better solution, there could be a solution already existing, but it can be innovative when you have a better solution for it. For everything you have hundreds of answers, hundreds of solutions, but what is a better solution? Why it can be a better solution? When it can meet the new requirements and unarticulate needs of the society and existing market needs. That's exactly what is required. And such innovation takes place through the provision of more effective processes, services, technologies, or business models that are made available to markets, governments, and society. So this is exactly what is innovation. I think this particular thing has given you clearly your innovation could be an effective process or a service or a technology or a business model. Anything, it could be anything. So that ultimately it should be able to affect. You should make this available to the markets and to the government and to the society to bring out that change. Okay, innovation is always a change that is happening in any of these mechanisms. Whereas a startup is a company, or it could be a project initiated by an entrepreneur to seek effectively develop and validate a scalable business model. Okay, that's exactly you would have heard a word of entrepreneurship development, right? So entrepreneurship refers to all new businesses, including self-employment and businesses that never intend to become registered, startups that registered. Whereas startups refer to the new businesses that intend to register and grow large beyond the solo founder. An entrepreneur can be a solo founder. There is always a difference between a startup and an MSME, right? If you have a business and you can have your own existing business, you can put it in a different model and start doing the business. That can be an MSME, micro, small, and medium enterprises. Okay, but whereas a startup means it should have an innovativeness. It should have a tinge of innovativeness in it, so that it can be scaled up for a better model on a long run. That's the exact difference between MSME and a startup, right? So you can have you have so many MSMEs because you have street vendors, vegetable vendors, and mind you, these are the people. We may be thinking that the street vendors, vegetable vendors, small scale industries, small shops, all these things we will be neglecting them, saying that they are in the unorganized sector. Mind you, they are contributing to 50% of the GDP and 90% of the workforce of our country. And they are the real backbone. Unfortunately, they are categorized as marginalized, unorganized, these kind of things. So if you have an opportunity, go and talk to them, talk to a street vendor, tell them how you can help them, give them an idea if possible. Try to understand what they are doing, how they are doing business. Your knowledge and experience will definitely be of great help to them. in helping. And again, my sincere advice here is never ever try to bargain with the people who are selling at the street vendors, because remember, they are not depending on the government. They are not depending on the public finance. Whereas we, having educated so many years, having used so much of government's resources, still depend on the government for the jobs. Okay, so they are the true citizens. If possible, try to help them by giving them the new ideas, by talking to them, by consoling them, and giving them the new ideas how they can scale up their business. And that's exactly what is the entrepreneurship. Okay, they are the real entrepreneurs. They're the real entrepreneurs, day in and day out. And if you try to speak to them every now and then, you will come to know their wonderful model. The other day, I was talking to a street vendor near my house. You know, this COVID-19 has brought in a new paradigm shift in street vendor, because every street is a vegetable market now. Earlier, we used to have markets in a flexible municipality designated place. Now, every street, everywhere they have the market. And that's a wonderful opportunity, because they don't need to go at one place and everything. It has democratized the vegetable purchases. Right? They're telling, a vegetable street vendor in Anantapur, where from he gets the vegetables? He gets from the Chikballapur. He gets from the Bangalore market, not from the local housing. Because 2 o'clock, 2 a.m., a lorry comes from all the things and supplies to the market here. Whereas the market from Anantapur and the local people go to the bank. See the funny of it. So if you can devise a method or a mechanism for a local thing, see the amount of cost reduction will be there. So he clearly says, if I buy a Chikballapur thing, it's very cheap, sir. And local market is very expensive, they say. I do not know what is that thing. Anyway, so this is exactly what is the entrepreneurship. So if you can have a business model to build on this and provide a consumer, producers and a consumers group link, and effective app or an effective mechanism, an effective software, if you can really build up it, and that can really do a wonderful say, and then that can become a startup. And that's the difference between a startup and a small scale enterprises. And the entrepreneur, when you start up, you are called as an entrepreneur. But when you have your own startup with an innovativeness, then you can call yourself as a boss, the CEO of the company. Call it as a promoter, founder, director, you name anything. It's all there in your hands. So, and then in the startup space, high uncertainty and have high rates of failure. Because you are starting with an innovation, it is not market ready, it is not market tested. So that's the reason why startup. Because whereas a small scale enterprises, already you have seen the market. You're only duplicating or replicating whatever is there elsewhere. But startup is not like that. When there is an innovativeness in that, there is always a stake. There is always an element of failure. But if you can overcome it, say, then you go on doing a successful and influential entrepreneur. Okay, and some startups become unicorns. There is a term what is called as unicorn, which is nothing but a privately held startup company, which is valued at $1 billion US. We normally call it as a unicorn. So I've given you some of the examples here. Indian unicorns. Also, there are Indian unicorns. We have Jio, Paytm, Ola Cabs, Oyo Hotels, Bijou, Swiggy, Zomato, BillDisc, Musicma, Big Basket, Policy Bazaar. You have hundreds of these kind of things. You can always Google them. And remember, you must have heard about Ola Cabs, Oyo Hotel, and Uber. And it's just an idea, and none of them own their cars or the cabs. Okay, but still, Swiggy, none of them own the Zomato, none of them own the restaurants. So the idea, the model, how they have become, their net worth has become more than $1 billion US. And once a particular startup becomes a unicorn, why it is relevant to educational institutions is, if you are students, because there are so many things I still know, because one of my, is actually a distant relative as a cousin. They were the three, Charan, by name Charan. They are the three people, who started this Red Bus. And they worked hard for 2 years immediately after their engineering. And they sold the entire Red Bus for 400 crores to a multinational company. And every one of them walked away with more than 120 crores each. And he came to my native place near Raichoti, and bought some 500 to 1,000 acres and implemented all advanced agricultural mechanization and start doing business. It's a unicorn. So you never know. And again, you all would have seen the app, right? Where is my train? Kind of an app. Again, started by 4 engineering students in Bangalore. And that particular thing is acquired by Google by paying them 4 crores. So once you get to that level, once your idea is innovative, and you will never know how your career and your life will take a turn. And the major stake for education institutions for all of us is if we can really tap the latent talent among the students and staff at an early stage, and then encourage them, create an ecosystem to grow into the unicorns or a large startups, then your institution can have a stake in that, equity stake in that, where you will have a regular income through this. In fact, the major model for Harvard and Stanford campus, if you see in Palo Alto, California, the entire campus could be around 2,500 acres, where 500 acres is allocated exclusively for the startup campus established by the alumni. This has happened 70 years back, not now. Now we are trying to bring up these policies and try to understand that. Okay, now literally most of the universities in the US and Europe, they don't depend on government, they don't depend on anybody, because this equity share in their startups, the alumni startup itself is a big money for them. Okay, so that is exactly what Government of India expects from every educational institute. Okay, and that's the very reason why this policy has come into force and why we should all be geared up for this kind of thing. So then let's try to understand more the processes involved in innovation and startup on a lighter vein. Innovation, as I just said, it's a theme of thinking, defining, and designing. You should have an idea, and then you define the proof of concept, then design the prototype to bring it, then democratize the concept. And that's exactly what it is. So when you start a theme of thinking, and you should always think how my idea is going to change the world and how my idea is going to democratize that particular domain. Okay. Similarly, you will see Apple has democratized the computers. Okay. And Google, as you all know, democratized the information. What is democratizing? Democratizing means everybody can give the information, everybody can take the information. Everybody is empowered to contribute to the Google Information Network, Google Information Cloud, so that they don't have a specific manner. That is what we normally call it as democratizing. Similarly, eBay has started to democratize the e-commerce, and you all know YouTube, how they have democratized the video making. Every one of us, if we have a critical idea, if you have a new idea, put it that concept into a new idea and upload it into YouTube, then anyone can see and keep giving you the feedback so that you can go on improvising on that. And many people take the clue out of it and start developing new products. So this is exactly what we call them. When you have an idea, it should be able to democratize the domain. And then when you do that, you should also have a mantra for it. Instead of having a big vision and mission statement, one sentence like Hero Honda, Desh ki dhakkan, Amul, the taste of India, thumbs up, taste the thunder. For Tata Steel, they used to say, football advertisement, they used to say, we also make steel while advertising for football. So your idea, your mantra should give a clear meaning of what is your business. Okay, then once you have this concept, you should embed it with the technological development and technological evolution and go on changing. If this is not happening, you would have seen what happens to Nokia, what happens to Videocon, what happened to several other companies which have died over a period of thing when there is no innovation in their process. Okay, and you have seen so many automobiles, how they have died over a process because when there is no innovation taking place day in and day out. Okay, so and then while doing this, don't worry, because here again, ice blocks, when they were getting in 1900s, they were getting ice blocks. Then the ice factories were invented. The people who innovated ice factories are not the people who owned ice packs. Again, the people who invented refrigerators are not the people who owned the ice factories. They are different people. Okay, so that's exactly what you should go on to the next curve by incorporating the technological development and evolution of the technologies. And while doing so, don't worry, be crappy. Try to Google the word for a crappy. It will give you a wonderful meaning, because you always never try to come to a final product, masterpiece. Always be a small rough draft. A rough draft is always essential in order to make. That's what exactly is crappy. Never worry about the final product at the beginning itself. Do something and go on churning your product in the end. So in the process, let 100 flowers blossom. This is a wonderful concept. Let 100 flowers blossom while you are working on an idea, for an idea with your innovation. There may be several ideas which are coming to you. And that's exactly because when Apple was working for computers, the one thing which they came to their rescue was the Lotus Notes. And Lotus Notes became so popular in terms of revenues for Apple computers. So they started funding from that to iPod, iPad, iPhone, and several other things like. So it's not the computers that brought name and fame to Apple. They are the other things, and that's exactly what. While you are working for an idea, on an idea, you never know, there may be several other things which may be coming to you, and give importance to every one of them, because you never know which idea is good. Because there is a say that there more grows in the garden than what the gardener knows. That's exactly what is. Let 100 flowers blossom, give importance to everyone. And great products always polarize people. If your idea is good, if your product is good, definitely people get polarized to that. And there is always a continuous churning of the product in order to go on improving. That's the reason why we have version 2, version 3, version 4, such kind of a thing. So similarly, startups, if you see different things, right from, you have an idea formation, project evaluation, then business plan, your concept, then you have build the team, get a small seed funding either from the founders or from the angels. Then you are founding the name, you are building up the organization, building up the business, developing the business. When you develop the business, you expect for more funding from external financing from venture capitalists and angel investors. And then you professionalize the organization, then you exit and you become on your own startup. Then you go on for scaling up the thing. So with this introduction, let's see the rationale why the government of India has been so intuitive about bringing up this innovation and startup policy into the country. Because innovation is still not the epicenter of education. Still the epicenter is only marks, exams, by heart, only this kind of a thing, employment. Okay, and no support in institutions to engage students and faculty to participate in innovation and entrepreneurship. There has been no mechanism so far for both the students and faculty to participate, all those participate in innovation and entrepreneurship. And failure is a stigma or taboo in our ecosystem currently. Okay, startups and entrepreneurship are not the primary career option for all our students, at least not yet. And even the brightest student, the pity is the brightest student is going and getting settled down in a service company for 2 to 3 years and getting all his inquisitiveness, all his or her inquisitiveness gets killed. In most of the time, they're doing a repetitive coding. And that's exactly why this, at least the sharper students should be steered towards startup and entrepreneurship, towards their career option. So if there are definitely lending hands, definitely there may be a very good product. It's good for the institute, it's good for the state, good for the country. Okay, and again, India's demographic dividend is not fully tapped. We all know that India, the major strength now is 50% of our population is less than 45 years, and if they are not tapped, their talents are not tapped properly, and if their skills are not honed properly, this demographic dividend, as we proudly say, should not become the demographic disaster. Okay, imagine the kind of youth The other day, I was because all these policies, both education policy and innovation policy, we may think that what it will do, what it can do. I've seen so many people interacting with me. Right? No, sir, this cannot do that. That cannot happen. Who will do? Where are the faculty? And all these things are always there. But I was interacting on the other day with a third standard student in Hyderabad. He happens to be the grandson of a friend of mine, a CEO of a company. The other day he was having a third standard student. He was having an online class on his iPad on computer architecture. When the class was over at 10 a.m., the boy was still working up to 1 p.m. So this person, the grandfather, thought what this boy is doing. He went from behind and saw what is exactly he's doing. Then he was searching about Raspberry Pi, Python, and what the Steve Jobs, how he done, what is all these things. He has so many tabs he has in his thing. He's searching all these things. And now last week when I tried to interview him, and he was talking to me that he's developing a robo for agriculture, incorporating Python into Raspberry Pi, and he's also understanding the ARM processor and the Raspberry processor, why it is GPS enabled, and is there any processor, is there any proximity sensor, is there better humidity sensor. He was always interacting with me. I was really just shocked. And then I asked him, he's Ved, why don't you give me an interview? I want to make a 5-minute video with you and share with all the for academic fraternity about what this young generation kid can do. He said, sorry, uncle, this Saturday I'm busy. I'm flooded with homework. And next Friday, I have to make a, Christmas tree, Christmas home, and all these things he wants to do creatively. And he asked me to contact in the first week of January. That's the generation. And this education policy, this innovation policy is to those students, those younger generation students, and the basic responsibility of mentoring and upskilling them, responsibility lies on all of us. So we should never ever try to discourage them, encourage that inquisitiveness, and give a whatever small support, whatever resources that we can show it to them, and they are going to lead this country and the world in the years to come. Anyway, so we are not prepared for our Prime Minister and Finance Minister keep telling that India should become 5 trillion economy, $5 trillion US economy, and it cannot happen overnight. It cannot happen with major industries of 10,000 crores of companies coming to India. It can happen only instead of having a 10,000 crore big company giving employment to 10,000 people. We should have a 10,000 of 1,000 crore startups which can give to 10 lakh employment. And that is the real strengthening of the economy. That can happen only if the startup culture boosts in the country, blossoms in the country. And that can also take up the surging unemployment both in India and globally. And we all know that there is a large gap between the skills required and skills imported. There is all because that's the reason why even the multinationals, when they employ the engineers, they still again have to train. Why should they train again if they're spending 4 years of engineering in the thing? Is it really good for a bad? Are they really spending 4 years productively? And why should they waste 4 years? If an intermediate student can start programming in Python effortlessly, why should any particular company come to an engineering graduate for employment? Okay, so like this, syllabi and staff are not tuned to the market. The list goes on and on. Okay, so the vision of this is basically it should work as a guiding framework to envision an educational system oriented towards startups and entrepreneurship opportunities for students and faculties. And it should provide ways to Indian higher education institutions for developing entrepreneurial agenda, managing intellectual property. Because this, if we can manage the intellectual property rights of our students, then the institutions can have wonderful revenue mechanism. So you can have ownership, technology, licensing, and equity sharing in startups or enterprises established by faculty and students. This wonderful model, which we did last year, we mentored a faculty and student group from Kuppam Engineering College last year when there was a challenge, a global challenge by WWF. They have come out with a wonderful gadget to protect the fields from wildlife animals. Wild animals. Now they have started a company with our mentorship. They are a startup with us, a company started by faculty and the students of Kupam Engineering College. Now they got a big order from Worldwide Fund, and then they are also talking to Madhya Pradesh government, different other state governments for supplying those gadgets to forest departments. So this is again, once you have this, once you go up to the scale up level, then the institute can have equity share in that startups. So this will ensure innovation and startup culture, which can become the primary fulcrum of our education system. So then for steps for implementation, I've briefly go through all these things because nothing much, because we have already discussed and all these points. I will also share the entire policy document. I think I have already shared, and I will also again share with your college so that every one of you can go through this particular thing, because strategies and governance, startups enabling institutional infrastructure, nurturing innovation and startups, product ownership rights and technologies developed at institutes. They have set up everything. For every small thing, they have a strategy in the policy. What should be the organizational capacity, human resources and incentives, creating innovation pipeline and pathways for entrepreneurs at institute level, and norms for faculty startups, they have also clearly mentioned. Then pedagogy and learning interventions, entrepreneurship development. You can also start a course on entrepreneurship development if you have a right expertise with you. Then collaboration, co-creation, business relationships, general impact assessment, and way forward. Okay, so if you see the strategies and governance, resource mobilization plans to support pre-incubation, incubation infrastructure facility. Okay, so I'll give you a brief introduction. What is pre-incubation stages and incubation stages? So that the strategy is to have a sustainable financial strategy to reduce organizational constraints. Because every institute is expected to have an innovation fund of at least 1% total institutional budget earmarked for these kind of things. Because on a long run, if it is thoroughly done on a revenue model, the institute is definitely going to get so much of funding from different funding agencies, from sponsoring, from alumni, from all these kind of things. So for this, you should have a minimum hierarchical and maximum individual autonomy and ownership of initiatives. Entrepreneurship culture should not be limited within the boundaries of the institution. If your institute is having this culture, and you should not limit it to your own students and faculty. It should be open to all the other people. It should be open to common public. It should be open to street vendor. It should be open to a farmer. Anybody can do this kind of a thing. So to enable the infrastructure, institutional infrastructure, the pre-incubation or incubation facility should be accessible 24/7 to students, faculty, and staff. Staff in the sense the non-teaching staff also can have. And it should be registered as a special purpose vehicle. For that matter, when we got the Atal Incubation Center by Government of India, Niti Aayog, Niti Aayog is an erstwhile planning commission, National Institution for Transforming India, Niti means. Okay, so ours is the only university in the entire country to get this Atal Incubation Center in 2017. Okay, ours is the only state-funded university from among 300 and so state-funded universities in the country. Sri Krishna Deva Raya University is the only one to get it. Even now in South India, you have Pondicherry University, you have Anna University, and you have IIIT and REC Trichy, IIIT Kottayam, right? And Sri Krishna, no other education institute is there in South India. Although you have CCMB, MedTech Zone, AP MedTech Zone, Vizag, the National Institute of Fashion Technology, Tirupur, and such kind of other entities are there. So we have mandate is to register it as a Section 8 company, not for profit Section 8 company. We have our own board of directors, and our vice chancellor of the university is only the chairman of the board. All the other boards are from industry people. So that we have that autonomy, functional autonomy as far as the conduct of the Atal Incubation Center. The name of the company is AIC SKU Confederation, which is an Atal Incubation Center. And we have our own, I request all the faculty and management, whenever you are going through the Anantapur, please stop at Sri Krishna Deva University, come to our facility, interact with our team, and always see how best we can serve you. Then nurturing innovations and startups. You have to establish mechanisms for easy creation for students and UG, PG, and PhD, and ensure incubation support, licensing IPR, setting up and startup part-time and start studying, working. Okay, then providing address to register the company. You have to, a startup institution has to help them how they can register for a company and allow to sit for examinations even if they don't have attendance, a semester or a year break. Now anyway, this is the reason why this has been incorporated in the national education policy, to have a break every year. And offer a part-time or a full-time program on innovation, entrepreneurship, and venture development. Okay, and every faculty may at least one startup groups. Then the product ownership through IPR, owned by inventors. The institute will have the benefit once that particular IPR is coming into a startup and growing to a particular level. Definitely, your higher education institution is going to benefit out of it. Then interdisciplinary research and publication on startup and entrepreneurship should be promoted, and disputes in the IPR should be resolved amicably within the institution. Then, this is another thing where the staff have to be more, because every educational institutions from 2021 onwards, the faculty in technical education, faculty in any education is expected to have a, number one, PhD is a must from 2021 academic year onwards. And then the staff you are recruiting in all the technical educations should have a strong innovation and entrepreneurial or industrial experience and attitude. This is going to be the major breakthrough in the selection of faculty of the technical institutions in the years to come. That's where we have to grow up, and we have to gear up by you courses in Coursera, edX, and so many things where all the Western universities are giving. Let's go on upskilling ourselves, and every faculty should have this innovation and entrepreneurial tinge to their resume in order to have a better chances of getting selected in the faculty recruitments. Okay, then cross-departmental linkages should be strengthened through shared faculty, cross-faculty teaching is also must. And faculty and staff should be encouraged to do courses on innovation, entrepreneurship management, and venture development, because AIC SKU will soon be developing a certificate course on innovation, entrepreneurship, and venture development on a virtual mode. Because anybody is free to do anywhere in the course, but all that is required is how far we are equipping, we are upskilling, we are tapping those latent talents in us. That's exactly what matters. Okay, in the process of creating innovation pipeline and pathways for entrepreneurs at institute level, this is very important because you have a role in career development and employability, and innovation is a mechanism to solve the problems of society. This is where we should be very careful. Okay, because we have so many problems all over the thing. Every student can be given a challenges every time. You can conduct frequent challenges, so the students definitely come out with solutions. Okay, and across the platforms, across the domains, so that it can develop an entrepreneurial mindset, and which will become an experiential learning by exposing them to training and cognitive skills. This is a very, very essential. Link the startups and companies with wider entrepreneurial ecosystem. And I think majority of the institutions have this MHRDs, Institutions Innovation Councils, as per the guidelines of Ministry of Education. Then develop a ready reckoner of innovation toolkit, which must be kept on the homepage on the institute website. Then norms for faculty startups are all there, which should originate from within the same institute. And develop a policy on conflict of interest, because when there are interdisciplinary faculty is working, you should develop a policy so that they don't clash each other in terms of interests. Then the faculty must clearly separate and distinguish the ongoing research from that of a startup, because your research is different, but startup and company is different. Okay, Startup and outside national international accelerator, a maximum leave of 1 semester should be, because if your faculty is getting selected for an, let's say AIC, if we are selecting your faculty to run a 3 months program, to that extent, you should be able to give a gap to the faculty with pay. Remember, this is going to pay back to the institute on a long run when the faculty who gets trained here and comes back and starts, talking to the students in that dimension. That's really going to have a wonderful change in the years to come. And the faculty must not involve research staff or other staff of institute in activities at the startup. Because that should be an entity on its own. An institute should not get involved into the thing. The clearance from ethics committee should always maintain, because we are talking about startups, innovations, IPRs, all these things. There always has to be an ethics committee in the institute. And so like this, every institute should have a policy on its own, how best they can take all these points into their pedagogy, which should have a diversified approach to produce desirable learning outcomes. That's ultimately in. So you can have a learning using mentors, labs, case studies, role models, games, these kind of things. Okay, and case studies on business failure and real life experiences, reports by startups. Always encourage students to understand the failures of the entrepreneurs, not the success stories. Because from failures you can learn so many things. Even for us, try to even in YouTube you can understand, you can study and view the failures of the big people. Don't study the success of the failure. That will not teach you anything. But failures of the big players, that will really teach you a lot. Okay, and again, we should have a long amount of tolerance in our system and encouraging the failure. We should not discourage the failure students at all. Go on encouraging this kind of thing. On the other day, we had one, I don't name the institute, we had a group of students who have come to us saying that they have worked with this the institute and institute staff discouraged them with this idea. And then we mentored them for a month, our team. And then now they are, I think yesterday they have contested at national level thing. So no idea is bad, and they are very likely to get a seed funding for that. So no idea is bad at the beginning stage. Let's not have that stigma. Then entrepreneurship education should be imparted to students at curricular, co-curricular, extracurricular, at every level. Okay, and the linkages should be leveraged for conducting research. Use the students, and if a particular startup is giving internship, use them, whether free or a voluntary or a paid or anything. Let's not worry, because the value addition is more important than the money addition. Then customized teaching and training material should be developed for startups. Okay, collaboration, co-creation, business. The institute should find potential partners for this. Resource organizations, MSMEs, social entrepreneurs, schools, alumni, professional bodies, entrepreneurs, to design and co-design the programs, because it's always better to have. That's the reason why AIC SKU has been mandated by Niti Aayog to have a partnership model for education system. We have a partnership model for academic institutes, partnership model for industries, partnership model for social organizations, partnership model for NGOs. We have different partnership models. I will also share our partnership model in the end. And ultimately, every college should collaborate with other institutes and other incubation centers, other MSMEs. This kind of collaboration and partnership, it should be embedded into the institutional policy. And then the entrepreneurial impact assessment, ultimately, whatever you do, it should be sustainable, social, financial, and technological impact in the market. Otherwise, there is no point. And ultimately, remember, we are teaching, we are trying, we are practicing the business, not the welfare. Okay, so that commercial success is the only measure in the long run. So in order to get this, and you will see here, AIC SKU, Atal Incubation Center, Sri Krishnadevaraya University, supported by Niti Aayog, Government of India under Atal Innovation Mission, which is a Section 8 not-for-profit company. We are not directly under the university. We directly report to Ministry of Corporate Affairs and day-to-day function to Niti Aayog, Government of India directly. Okay, and a board of directors. So in fact, this logo is designed by a student, where you will see he has embedded so much of concept in this. Our agricultural thing, through this you are increasing the economy into multifold, and you have a IN, cube, 8, or incubator in IR. This is a logo for starting up. You start up to scale up the longer run. And this is a vision, basically an incubation center. Now, this is just an example of our incubation center. And any incubation center, the vision is same: to create a conducive ecosystem for the innovation, entrepreneurship, and incubation, leading to employment generation, reduction in migration, and local economy development. Okay, and every incubation center should have a goal to inculcate entrepreneurial spirit in the ecosystem, create a paradigm shift in youth, and prepare them to become the next generation innovators and entrepreneurs. This should be the goal, vision of every institutional innovation cell. And I'll briefly touch upon the pre-incubation stage, which can happen in the IIC. In pre-incubation can have an institutional innovation cell where you have an ideation support, proof of concept, whatever the idea is there, how they get the proof of concept, and leading them to prototyping and connecting them to the right mentor, and ultimately getting them the IPR rights. So up to this IPR, we call them as pre-incubation stage. So your institute can have a pre-incubation stage, and it can be supported by AIC SKU. We are prepared to do it. But until last year, we have supported nearly 15 institutes in the entire state of AP and Orissa and Tamil Nadu. Out of which Kuppam Engineering College and a few other college students, SRIT college students, also got some wonderful recognition nationally for the thing. And some other colleges have done wonderful thing. But this year onwards, Niti Aayog has mandated, because we have completed the 3rd year of operation and we are expected to go into revenue model. That's the reason why we have brought this partnership model to be on a revenue thing. Because they strictly believe that unless the institutions share some expenditure, there cannot be value addition to the. Then the stages of incubation, which can happen in an incubator like us or in any incubator near to you. There is always no hard and fast rule that you should incubate with us. But while it is a welcome sign to incubate with a national facility, because we are a national facility where we have both physical and virtual incubation. People in Orissa also have virtual incubators with us. People in West Bengal are a virtual incubator with us. Like this, there is no, and there are also some startups in Noida. Although they have a vibrant ecosystem there, they are trying to be, with us. And similarly, you have a ICFI Business School in Hyderabad. And they are the academic partner with us to develop an incubation system in their institute in Hyderabad. So like this, there are different institutes where we are going. So you can have any virtual mode or a physical mode. We are ready to take, we do not have any geographical boundaries for this, because we are a national facility and we are the only institute with multidisciplinary. We can have an IoT, ICT, energy, agricultural and food processing, any domain we can guide. Whereas CCMB is only for education, for medical thing, and Vizag Museum for medical technologies. NIFT Tirupur is only for textile. That kind of a domain-specific incubators are there. We are open. So in incubation stages, we help you in company startup registration process, give you all the professional services required, connect you to the right mentor, and help you in a business plan development, and link you with the right marketing partners for a market linkage. And these are all the typical services with us. Once a startup comes to us, we give them all the professional services in terms of, you call them network, faxing, and all the kind of office services. You don't need to have your own office assistant. Then ideation and IPR, we do with our cost. We get you all the IPR done up. Then prototyping with our cost. Lab testing, industry linkages, business planning, connect you to the right technology mentor in different domains. We have a whole host of successful mentors and industry startups who can mentor different domain experts. Then we also provide internship to the students and capacity building to the faculty of the institutes. We do facilitate investment by linking them the venture capitalists and angel investors, Government of India department linkages, technology transfer, partnerships among different startups, then marketing linkages. So all these are the typical services, and all these things anyway you can go through the AIC-SKU.com. There is a website here. You can go through this thing and understand what we do. AIC-SKU.com. Then the Government of India, this is the innovation generation pyramid, which they have called, because they all over the country they have identified 10,000 schools. In AP we have 437 schools, which are given 20 lakhs each, and given adult tinkering labs to them, 10 lakhs at one instant, and the remaining 2 lakhs for recurring for every year, like 5 years. Like that, they have established 437 adult tinkering labs where we are mentoring the schools. Every year we mentor 5 good schools for their creative ideas. Last year we did 5, and this year we did 4. From 437 schools, the Niti Aayog identifies 5 schools every year, and we mentor them and make them. And one school students, their idea is getting selected. They are going to Russia next week to present their idea. Okay, from a school, social welfare school children, 6th standard to 8th standard students. And at the next level, they have the institution innovation cells and academic, Atal community innovation centers at different colleges. This is at college levels, and then at the university levels, Atal incubation center. This is the innovation generation pyramid that is envisaged by the thing. So in the end, we have, the great Abdul Kalam. There are always problems everywhere which are common to us. All birds find shelter during a rain, but eagle avoids rain because it has that innate talent to fly above the clouds. Unless you recognize your talent, you can't fly. And every one of us is embedded with this flying talent. Only thing we have to realize, we have to make our students realize their talents. Okay. So with this, thank you very much. And before this, let me give you another 2 minutes to kindly spare another 2 minutes where I will scan through the academic models which we have proposed for the academic institutes, which I feel that faculty also, it's good apart from the management, it's good that the faculty also get to know about such kind of a thing. Let me just share another small presentation, just a 1 page. It's not there. Yeah. So hope Ram, presentation visible?
Yes, sir. It's clear, sir.
Yeah. So this is about AIC-SKU. This is just a 2-page academic plan, which I will explain you. It's a non-profit Section 8 company supported by Atal Innovation Mission. So we have an annual academic partnership model for different academic institutes, which starts from January to December 21. So we have a gold partner model, diamond partner model, and platinum partner model. So these are all the things, you can have a mention of the institute's name in our AIC-SKU website for all the things. Then guidance in the formulation of institutional policy. We will help in all the 3 things. And mentoring and hand-holding support to the institute's innovation cells. We will do it, all the partners. Certificate, we will sign an MOU with the institute. Because last week we have signed with ICFI schools, and tomorrow we have with Anantalakshmi Institute. Then Yoga Vemana University is there in the pipeline. So we have just started this and then building up with different institutes. Then free internship support to the students. Your students can virtually or physically come to our facility, and this model 2 teams for gold partner, diamond partner 4 teams, and 6 teams free internship to the students, and the rest we will charge them very nominally. Then access to have a wide network of experts, mentors, and collaborators available with this. Then we have a customized training and empowerment programs for various stakeholders of the institute, students, and faculty. Because for gold partner, we have only 2 programs on 1-day orientation and half-a-day ideation camp. For a diamond one, we have a 1-day orientation program, half a day ideation, and 5-day faculty development program also we have. Whereas for a platinum partner, apart from these three, we also have a 5-day entrepreneurship development program for the students and faculty. Then because any program events conducted by us, there is a 20%, 30% discount. Then we have a free sponsor of stalls. We'll be conducting number of exhibitions, both physical and virtual, to startups. So 2 teams can participate, 2 stalls, 3 stalls and 4 stalls for different partnership. Then eligibility for applying the annual awards, what we will be instituting for best innovation and best startup ecosystem enabler to the institute, and best startup for social impact. So like this, we are planning to have a number of such awards where all the 3 can be eligible. Then discount on certificate course, which we will be offering on entrepreneurship and venture development, which will be a 36-week virtual program for all the students and faculty can enjoy 10%, 20% and 30% discount on the course fee. Then mentioning the institute's logo on all the AIC programs for 1 year. Okay, so your institute will be mentioned on our AIC programs as an academic partner, gold partner, diamond partner. This is there only for diamond and platinum. And one-to-one mentoring to support startups and students with innovative ideas we'll be doing for diamond and platinum partnership. And co-incubation support to AIC SKU for potential ideas. Your incubators can come with us and do it. This co-incubation will guidance in establishing incubation centers and pre-incubation centers or technology development centers in your institute, both for diamond and platinum. But when it comes to guidance in strategizing and building robust startup ecosystem, is there only for platinum partner, and IPR facility with our funding to the selected ideas for platinum, and prototyping support with our funding to the platinum support. So the annual contribution, we don't call it as a membership, we call it as a partnership, because you are partner in the ecosystem building. Ultimately, every one of us have a vision to develop the country, to develop the ecosystem of the region and to the country. That's why we call it as an annual contribution of partnership. For a gold, we call 25,000 rupees. For a diamond, 50,000 rupees. For a platinum, it is 75,000 rupees per annum. Okay, so this is exactly what I wanted to share with all the faculty. I think that's the end of my partnership. Sorry, I've exceeded my presentation because the more and more points I wanted to shift. So I expect a big apology from all of you. Sorry, I apologize, and I expect a big pardon from all of you for taking your time. And session is open for queries, and I'm ready to answer any questions.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your valuable inputs given in respect to the startup policy and also education policy also, sir. We will go through your proposal, sir, to collaborate with your institution, and definitely yes. I will be in touch with you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, and my due apologies for taking more time.
No problem,
because it
sir.
went on in flow.
No, it's our pleasure, sir. It's a pleasure. No problem.
Yeah, so I'm open anytime, and for open the thing, you can reach me over because my mail ID both Ramakrishna and the principal garu iddaru unnaru. So I am open to contact over phone or mail ID to any faculty and students anytime, but preferably after 6 p.m.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
It will be my pleasure. It will be the pleasure of our Atal Incubation Center to support the wonderful efforts of the management of SV colleges in the region. Yeah. Any queries?
Any faculty or student, please feel free to ask any doubts. Or we can conclude the session. Ramakrishna.
Yeah, there are only two possibilities again here. Either everything is clear or nothing is clear. I am highly optimistic. I think that I think something should be clear when it comes to the policies per se.
Sir, it's a lot of information, sir, and it's a very new information, sir. That's why it seems like huge information you have provided for us. So it's a very new for us, sir, actually. A lot of information you have given. So many of us faculty don't know all this information. So
I'll share that complete document అండి that innovation policy అది WhatsApp ద్వారా మీకు షేర్ చేస్తాను. It's also available in AICT website. Everywhere it is available. And I expect every one of you during your leisure time, please go through it. It will give so much of insight. That's my sincere request.
Yes, sir. Deepthi? Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, and it's my pleasure.
It's really a pleasure for us, sir, actually, to have your session. And I already had your session, sir, I know. And this time, a lot of information again added, sir. Thank you for that, sir.
Thank you.
Vote of thanks. Thank you for an enlightening presentation, sir. It was an interesting webinar. Thank you for taking time to speak to us today. I hope everyone who attended will make use of it. I want you to know that what you said had a significant impact on many of us. I sincerely thank you for accepting our webinar. Thank you so much, sir. On behalf of our college, I would like to thank our principal, sir, management, whole college who participated and helped make this webinar a successful one. I'd also like to thank the participants for making it a huge success. Thank you all.
So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ramakrishna Reddy garu, Principal Sir, Sudhakar Reddy garu. All the best. All the best to the faculty and to the students. So,
okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.